Why, hello there, and welcome to Futon Talks, a podcast where we take a look back at things one of us, maybe both of us, missed. I am your co-host, Christopher Midling, joined by Joshua Castro. Josh, how are you today?
Doing good. It's been a long day.
It's been a very frustrating and annoying day.
It has. Would you like to elaborate?
I got off work at 8:30 in the morning. I started at 11. I came home, took a shower, and tried watching our topic, which is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
Woo.
And for some reason, I couldn't get to the movie fast enough. So I started where I left off 4 months ago, which was in the middle.
Oh, God.
And then I finished the movie. Josh comes over. We're on our futon. We're about to talk.
Hence the name.
Exactly. And then my dad, for some unknown reason, started talking on the phone, but he was shouting at these poor people on FaceTime. I guess they couldn't hear him properly, so he had to really yell, and it was too noisy outside because we have like construction trucks going by and airplanes in the sky,
And dogs barking.
barking.
Can I be honest with you really quick?
Yeah.
I thought that your dad was just yelling at your mom.
Could have been.
I thought he was just
Maybe
mad
she
at her.
left.
Maybe that's what happened. I just was like, what's happening? Like, it was pretty funny because at first, because we were recording and we tried to record this the first time and it just didn't work out. And I could kind of hear him in the background, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention. And you asked, like, is that coming through? Or is that getting picked up? And I thought you were asking me if your dad was going to get physically picked up by a person. And I was like, I don't think so. Because I just didn't even notice it. Anyways, that was stupid.
And then when we it was because we were both like, oh, it's not that loud.
Yeah,
and then he got louder.
It's like he realized that we were going to continue.
Yeah.
He was like, what? He just started yelling at
My
them.
dad does. He talks really loud.
He's a
on
loud
the
talker.
phone.
And Phil, you have a lot of great things to say.
Yeah.
I love you, Phil, but you're loud.
He wants to be heard.
He has lots of, what he has to say should be heard. Just not by our podcast accidentally.
Across the house.
Through 5 walls.
But today, like I said, we were talking about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, which came out December 14th, 2018.
Ooh, Christmas time.
From Sony Pictures. Do you have any memories with this movie?
I have tons of memories.
Tell
of this
me
movie.
them.
I'm going to tell you all of them. You just wait. So for me, this movie...
Not too many.
We don't got too much time for that. But this movie, for me, is really important. I didn't see it the day it came out or anything, but I saw it when it was still in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie ends up playing a pretty big role in the courtship of my wife. Ooh, hello. And it's a movie that we watched together. It's a movie that she really loved. My wife and I have this thing where pretty much if I like a movie, she's going to hate that movie.
Mm.
And if she likes a movie, I am most likely going to barely tolerate that movie. Like we just after months of trying to convince her, we just watched Spirited Away yesterday. One of my favorite movies of all time. She hated it.
What?
Did I expect any less? Of course not.
That's crazy. That movie's awesome.
She's a wild child. She thinks it's too disturbing and weird, and that's what's good, right? Thank you. That's the point. Grace. But anyways, so we have this thing pretty much where usually we just don't enjoy the same types of movies or media or even music.
Mm-hmm.
We're just, we're definitely the opposites attract kind of pair.
What kind of music does she like?
I don't K-pop. What the frick happened?
What? She likes K-pop?
It's very... Okay, so she likes K-pop, and she also likes country, and she also likes just, whatever's on the radio.
I would have never guessed.
Right? Country
I could.
Country makes sense.
Just because she's from Idaho.
But
K-pop?
I don't know what happened. Because this is the thing. One of the reasons she doesn't like Spirited Away is because it's anime, and it's just very foreign to her. You know, she just thinks it's kind of weird.
But K-pop isn't.
Right? I don't get it. You'd have to ask her.
She's an enigma.
My wife's middle name is Enigma.
Whoa.
Grace Enigma Castro. But
crazy.
So that's one of the reasons this movie is important to me, is that it defies her enigma-ness per se. And it's just a movie that really brought us together. It's also just a good movie. You know, it's animated beautifully, really heartwarming story. The story of Peter B. Parker in particular just really speaks to me. I don't know why. I'm not homeless, nor divorced, nor a superhero. Although some might say otherwise. But yes, of course you would. But it's just a really heartwarming film and just a great, happy movie. You know, there's no note of sadness in it, at least not for me. But I'd like to ask you, what was your kind of introduction to this movie? Is it something that was really on your radar, or I guess how did you end up missing it?
So I knew about this movie when it was teased back in 2017. It was a very vague teaser trailer. It basically just showed the medium that it was going to be in.
Like just the art, essentially.
Yeah, just the art. Nothing else. And for me at the time, I wanted more live action Spider-Man. I wanted Tobey back.
Tobey.
The thought of it being animated felt like it was replacing the live action.
Like
movies.
Going in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I felt like they were going to just scrap live action and just go full animation.
Yeah.
That didn't sit well with me. It's not true.
Yeah, it ended up not being what happened.
And I almost wish it's only animation now.
Isn't that weird? How much it was a total 180.
But I didn't watch this movie when it came out, even though I was invited to see it. I had work that night, so I just slept instead. And then about 4 months ago, I tried watching this movie, got halfway through, fell asleep, went to work, forgot about it, and then we are doing this podcast now, and I watched it this morning, or the last half of it.
Last half of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see your disjointed views on this movie. Correct me if you're wrong. I know you've done a little bit of a teensy-weensy bit of research. It's Phil Lord and Pete Miller?
I believe so.
I
know. I remember Phil Lord.
Sorry, Miller. You're just not as memorable
Afterthought.
as Phil. But wait, was it Phil? Phil Lord?
I don't think it was Phil.
Gosh, did I just totally forget his name? Is it Pete Lord? Oh, you're both not memorable. Here's the thing. The movie that this pair did before was the Lego Movie. I know what they've done. They did the Lego Movie and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2. Those are the other two movies they did.
Phil Lord did the story.
Phil Lord. Excuse me, Phil.
Screenplay by Rodney Rotham.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, who's the other director? There's two directors.
Directed by Bob, I'm going to ruin this, Persichetti.
Persichetti.
Peter Ramsey and Rodney Rotham. Where did you get this?
I don't know where you're getting this information from.
Produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
There you go. Christopher Miller and
But
Phil
he
Lord.
is like last on the list, so I don't know.
No, they're a thing because they do it together. So if it's directed by like one of them, it's also directed by the other.
Oh, I see. You're right. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
They're a duo.
They are a duo.
That's right. And they haven't done a whole lot of stuff. But the stuff they've done is really good. Did you see the Lego Movie?
No.
Oh, it's really good.
I did really like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, though.
I liked it. When did that movie? It was like 2009 that Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs came out. It's been a very long time. Oh, man, look at me.
Right on the dot.
Right on the dot. I know you, Phil Lord, even though I don't know your name half the time. But all that just to say is that these guys, in my opinion, are kings among animators, right?
Yeah.
I just think they do a great job. They do a good job of story with drawing you in and with making animation charming, as opposed to just being a substitute for like live action. It makes me prefer animation, which is not something I usually feel.
It's very striking.
Yeah. It's just, especially if you look at like, you know, the Lego movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and this movie, they're all totally different, but they all are really visually striking.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'd like to get into the movie itself, and I'll probably give a really quick, brief synopsis. The story follows Miles Morales, who I think recently has kind of come into the spotlight because of the Spider-Man spin-off, I suppose you would call it that, a Spider-Man spin-off video game. And it's pretty much his story as he kind of finds out who he is. It's a coming-of-age movie.
Yeah.
You know, but it's also a superhero origin movie, but it's also a superhero ensemble film. So
yes,
it's got a lot of things going on. And I think that's one of the things that blows my mind most about it is that somehow with all of that stuff, it still remains cohesive and coherent.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, back to what I was actually supposed to be doing. You kind of meet Miles, and he's this young, half black, half Puerto Rican kid, and he's really bright, and he's going to middle school. He's at a middle school he doesn't really like, and he feels like he's not maybe there, like he maybe doesn't deserve to be there, like it's not the right place for him, and so begins his kind of journey for self-discovery. But through a bunch of wacky circumstances that we'll go into later with a little bit more detail, he eventually ends up getting bit by a radioactive spider. He ends up getting pulled into a battle between Peter A. Parker and Green Goblin, and at the end of that fight, he witnesses the death of Peter A. Parker, which, man, I just want to talk about it right now. But we'll come back to it. But just how shocking, that they actually kill Peter Parker. But anyways, excuse me. So you see Peter A. Parker die, and obviously this leaves Miles really just conflicted and lost. He just doesn't know what to do. And he goes to Peter's gravestone after he's entombed. And while he's there, a person approaches him, and it's kind of a shady figure. You don't know, are they going to be bad? Are they going to be good? And it turns out to be another version of Peter Parker who's from an alternate dimension. When Peter A. Parker is killed, it messes with a machine that's being used to bring together alternate realities. And when that happened, because he was put into the machine, it brought a bunch of other spider people through, which eventually it threw into Miles's reality, and eventually this becomes a big plot point. But for now, you just meet Peter B. Parker. And through a series of more wacky coincidences and goings-ons, Peter B. Parker, and from now on I'll just call him Peter. Peter and Miles kind of team up to try to destroy this collider. And they go to this company called Alchemex, which is a company that is owned by Kingpin, who's the main villain, main antagonist, who is the guy who built the collider, the machine that Peter was kind of put into by accident, right? Anyways, they go there to try to get information they need. It fails, it works, and eventually the Spider ensemble cast comes together. And the 6 main characters are Peter Porker, who does not deserve to be the first one I list. Spider-Man Noir is Nicolas Cage. Oh, Peter Porker is John Mulaney, by the way.
Yeah.
Then Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir. Penny Parker, whose voice actress does not get to be named because I don't remember her. Then you have Spider-Gwen, who is, I believe, Haley Steinfeld.
That sounds right.
And then, it sounds perfect.
Sure.
And then the last 2 are Peter B. Parker and Miles.
That's a lot of Spider-Men.
That's a lot of Spider-Men and women, spider people. But they turn out to just be a great ensemble cast. They have really wonderful chemistry. And a lot of them actually don't get very much screen time, but it feels like they stick with you in a weird way. But anyways, these 6 come together, and they combine their own experience and wits. And although they kind of have a falling out with Miles at one point, eventually they come back together, and they destroy the collider. Miles kind of finds who he is in becoming a spider person. And it just ends with this really positive message that anybody can wear the mask, anybody can be a spider person, simply meaning that anybody can, find meaning in who they are, essentially, right?
I like that.
Anyways, and that's pretty much the story. There's tons of little things that go on in there, but pretty much they all come together, they destroy the collider, and it's a kind of happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Fisk. Not a very happy ending for him. He goes to jail.
Yeah.
But I hope that made sense. And even if it didn't, who cares? Because we're going to be going through this beat by beat anyway.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the scenes that stuck out to us. And first of all, I'd like to ask you, just chronologically going through, what's the first scene that kind of sticks out to you and that you remember more vividly than others? And I know that you're thinking back 4 months for the first half of this film, but just tell me what you think.
I mean, I can just go to the very beginning of him walking through the streets, or him in the car ride with his dad.
Yeah.
That's just such a great scene. It perfectly demonstrates their relationship, and how Miles's dad, Jefferson Davis,
the Confederate president.
Yes. He wants what's best for Miles, but also he just pushes him a little too far, it seems.
Yeah.
He wants him to be a model child, almost.
Yeah.
And Miles doesn't want to be constricted going to a boarding school.
Yeah.
He wants to be himself, but he doesn't know who he is yet. And another relationship that Miles has is with his uncle, Aaron, who is kind of the black sheep of the family. He was kind of shunned away from Jefferson after they had a falling out. And their relationship, through other media that, we've read or played, their relationship used to be really close. They used to tag walls together and make rhymes and beats together.
Ooh.
But since they have falling out, obviously different paths of professions.
Yes.
Jefferson wanted to be a police officer, and Aaron kind of went more crime wavy.
Evil villain.
But the next scene that I think
of... Sorry.
The next scene that I think of is when Aaron and Miles are throwing up his art.
Yes.
And
I love the pause there.
Yeah.
When they're throwing up
his art. That's just a really vibrant scene, and it's very clever how...
Can I break in for a moment?
Yeah, please do.
You mentioned something earlier about how you've experienced other media with Uncle Aaron and with Jefferson Davis. I'm just gonna call him Jeff. With Jeff. That feels
Officer
too
Davis.
personal. Officer Davis. There we go. He would want me to call him that.
Yeah.
So between Officer Davis and Uncle Aaron, there's a lot of history that in this movie you just don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, I've never read a Miles comic.
Okay.
Neither have I played the Miles Morales offshoot video game. I was gonna call it the Miles Morales video game. I've got it. I played the first hour, but I haven't really broken into the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not gonna ask you to elaborate on it now, just because I'd like to hear about it kind of at the end. But I'm really excited to see what perspective you bring to this movie.
Okay.
Having had a deeper look into these characters and an alternate kind of viewing of them.
Yeah.
Because they're the same characters, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I imagine. Same relationship and whatnot.
Same dynamic, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I'm really excited about that. And I just had some lines. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have lines for every scene that we mention.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that we should read them, but I just love them. They're just hilarious. How did you feel when Jeff, Officer Davis, said, "Is that a coffee shop or is that a disco?" I loved that. I don't know why. I just thought it was so fun. It just reminds me of my dad so much.
Yeah.
And he's muttering to himself.
Times are changing. It's not how they used to be for him.
It's just it's just so good. You
Yeah.
know? I feel like the dialogue is just really natural.
Mm-hmm.
And just as much as we should admire the animation, oh my gosh, we got to give credit to the writers who we're not going to name, so we're not going to give them credit. but it's just so good, so well done, so nuanced.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the scene where Uncle Aaron and Miles go off to tag the wall in the subway. That's a really important plot point, obviously. You want to talk more about that?
Yeah, so this is where Miles will get bitten by a radioactive spider. But how they do it, they intertwine it with him tagging the wall, and his uncle is watching, right? Or his uncle is helping him.
Yeah, he's like tutorializing. He's like, you making mistakes is part of it, Miles. Like,
so it's just funny how Miles is kind of finding out who he is or what he wants to do, like his passion, and then something is at the same time is going to change him forever.
Yeah.
You know? It's just clever and cute how they did where the spider is falling through his clothes while he's tagging, so cool. And it almost bites Aaron, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
That would have been a weird movie.
That would have been.
The Prowler is even more powerful.
But yeah, it's just a very striking scene. So many colors.
I know. Like, again, like this, I think you said it earlier, but like, there's colors in this movie that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, they had to invent colors for this.
Yeah.
And do you think, because I really like what you said about how right as he's like finding his passion, he's really experiencing this thing that he loves.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, he's getting bit by the spider and it's going to change everything. I imagine that was intentional, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, right as his door is opening to this passion, like this other door is opening too.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's other, I guess they're really the same door.
Kind of, yeah. And it's also funny because, so his Uncle Aaron is the Prowler.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out later on. But if anyone knows anything about Miles Morales, it's always the Prowler.
Yeah.
But you're also seeing this juxtaposition of what Miles' dad wants for him and then what Aaron wants for him.
Yeah.
And how different they are. And who knows, what if Miles continued following Aaron? Would he become a criminal?
Yeah, I don't
working
know.
for Fisk? Or would he...
Wouldn't that be wild?
Right?
He totally could have.
Could have been.
And yeah, I feel like in the movie, it almost is like he, Uncle Aaron wants to help him find his true self as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, it really is more right that he's being pushed.
Yeah.
But I had a question for you about that, about Officer Davis. Did you ever feel pushed that way by your father or by people in your life?
Sure.
Like, I guess, can you speak to that feeling of like what it feels like as a kid to be pushed that way or to be under that pressure?
Yeah. Especially for something that I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, my dad wanted me to be, or it felt like he wanted me to be a football player or something. He wanted me to be he wanted me to be into sports, but I was into video games or music.
Yeah. One of those artsy,
my dad really
types.
wanted me to be a swimmer for some reason.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
But he was so terrified of you being in the water.
That's why he wanted me to be a swimmer.
Oh.
So he wouldn't be terrified.
So he wouldn't be scared.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
It's like the opposite of what I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like swimming, though.
You're not a
I
fish.
get kind of good at it, though.
Oh,
but I don't like it.
But you're good at it.
I don't like it.
You hear that, water? I'm not a fan.
But yeah, I mean, everyone that you come across in life, I feel, at least whoever is close to you, they, I mean, you're manageable, you know, you can be adjusted in any way, really. And naturally, we kind of become the people around us.
I think that's true.
As life goes on, we're not ourselves anymore. Like, after spending years with you, I am a lot like you, and I think you're a lot like me too.
I am, for sure. What's that saying that's like, it's probably not even saying, I think it was from a study that you will always adopt the qualities of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you just become like them. Yeah,
exactly. So I feel like, you know, I got my dad, I got you, Jarrett, Aspen.
Gary from work.
There you go.
Oh
my gosh. I need to find a way to cut that part out of me if that's true.
No, you're wonderful.
But I think you might have a little more to say about this.
I do. You know, And Dad, if
Only
you're
because
listening-
your dad actually has like a profession.
That's true.
And he's more strict and disciplined.
Yeah, my dad is like, if you looked up discipline in the dictionary,
Derek will be there.
there would be my dad. Like, my dad is, well, first of all, he was in the Navy for a long time, for about 20 years. And he did that so that he could go to grad school and medical school, really, to become a dentist. And anyway, so he has a job, and he's lived a life that was really dependent on being rigorous and hardworking, right?
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it's just reflected in his normal life, where he's just always been a really fit guy. Probably up until, I don't know, a decade ago, he was very, very focused on just being fit, really in shape. And it's kind of transitioned now into this thing where he just loves to read, and he's constantly reading. And not books like fiction. Generally, it's like, philosophy and books of that sort. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that he just really pushes himself, and that was reflected in his parenting, for sure. Where I was a lot like you, where I just was one of them artsy fartsy kids. I just wanted to play video games, wanted to read. I really loved music, and my dad just never really understood that, and he would really push me. But at the same time, interestingly enough, even though it led to a ton of conflict when I was a child, ultimately my dad and I did have a moment like Miles and Officer Davis.
Oh.
And I think that that's probably one of the reasons this movie hits me so hard, is because I really do see my father and I story in it as well. Where I kind of learned from my own life that while great expectations are not always the thing you need, no expectations are not what you need either.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the big messages, is that you do need to push the ones you love, but you need to push them to find out who they are. And you need to push them to follow their spark, right? Isn't that what Jefferson says to him is, I see this spark in you, Miles. And it's like, that's pretty much what my dad would say to me, is like, I see this light in you. I know how much good you can do. And so he would pretty much, when he realized that he needed to push me to find my own light, that's when it really kind of came together. And I think that's one of the big messages that this movie has, is that it's not good to have no expectations. That's kind of what happened to Uncle Aaron. But it's also not good to have crazy expectations. Anyways, I just think that's such a profound thing that this story teaches.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
See what you thought.
It definitely resonated with me.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I know you and I are both suckers for dad-son stories, so
Yeah, we are.
I don't know what that says about us.
Wow. We love our dads.
We love our dads. Oh, hey, look. Here's the line. Dad, I love you.
Hey.
There you go. Thanks, Jeff.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. It could have been me. It could have been some writer that I'm not going to credit. Who knows? But I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite animated movie? Because this is my favorite animated movie.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to think about this for a little bit.
You can ponder on that. I can continue with the story where you left off, but I want you to be thinking about that so we can talk about it at the end. Because this movie, surprisingly enough, has become my favorite animated movie of all time. But anyway, at this point we talked about Miles tagging the wall and the maintenance shaft and all that jazz with Uncle Aaron. And after that, he goes back to school, has a normal day. But wait a second, it's not that normal, because he was bit by the spider. So he starts to develop these spider powers. And I'm pretty sure that the first time they develop is, or really manifest, is when he's running from the hall monitor or whatever. And he goes into his office and he's like, plays the Spider Christmas album, which is a real thing. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's on Spotify. How bizarre. Anyway.
That's crazy.
So it's like the entire album. It's not just one song. Anyway, so that happens. He goes in the office, but he ends up kind of propelling himself from the window. And he's sticking to the walls, and he says a couple lines like, stop sticking. And then he says, keep sticking. And eventually he gets back to his own dorm room. And there he reads a comic where the exact same thing happened to Peter. Peter says, keep sticking, or stop sticking, and he says, keep sticking once he's outside.
Yeah.
And so because of this, he realizes, oh crap, am I Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And it's because of that he goes back to the maintenance shaft where he was bit by that spider, and he sees that it's a weird spider, right? Because it like phases in and out of existence, and he kind of gets caught up in that fight with Peter and the Green Goblin. But I meant to ask you, if you were bit by a spider like that,
yeah,
how would you react?
I mean, I'd be terrified.
Would you be cool-headed like Miles?
I don't know. I don't know how it feels.
Want me to show you? I will not bite you. Like, have you ever been bitten by a spider, like, knowing that it's happening?
No, but I've been bit by, like, a bee before, knowing that's happening.
That's horrendous. I'm actually really scared of wasps.
Me too.
Like, deathly afraid.
Because I don't want it to happen again.
Don't you dare send us a wasp. A single wasp. All of you beekeepers listening.
I mean, I've been bit. Yeah, usually when I'm hurt, I'm pretty level-headed.
That's
like when I had that hook in my foot.
Okay, we gotta say that story too. You just jumped off like a barn stall?
Yeah, so I just jumped off and I didn't see the hay hook.
Gosh. These hay hooks are huge, by the way.
Yeah, they're
like
the dull
finger,
ones
right?
too. Oh yeah, they're about the pinky finger.
A pinky finger.
Yeah.
A small man's pinky.
Yeah.
Or is it yeah, there you go. They're thick. They're big old hooks. And did it impale all the way through your foot?
No.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
just a teensy bit.
And yeah, it didn't hurt. I mean, it didn't hurt that bad at the time. It just I couldn't walk for like a week. At least on that foot.
I remember that. Good times. But you were level-headed.
Yeah.
You didn't freak out.
Yeah. What about you? Are you a wuss?
Am I a baby? So I think with pain, I'm pretty level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, for example, I started working construction.
Yes.
And I think it really made me much more of a man in several ways, but especially in regards to like reacting to pain. Because I used to feel like when I'd like hit my shin on something, I'd be like, "Ow, dude, that hurt." But
I just ignore it, right?
Now I'm like that. Yeah, I literally one day at work, I like hit my shin on something, and my reaction was to be like, "Ow, that hurt." But like halfway through, I was like, "No, why would I react?"
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been like that ever since. But anyways, but when it comes to bugs, if I can like see the bug, I feel like I would scream like a little girl and freak out. Like I would not be okay with that spider being near me.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
either.
just casually slap it. Which like I get, that's why it's funny.
So I've had spiders climb on me.
What do? Do you like freak out?
No, I'm very level-headed, and I get up, I get to a safe spot, and then I swat it away.
I like that you go to a safe area.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep it in my house.
Is it a safe area for the spider or for you?
For me.
There you go.
I don't care about the spider.
I don't care about you. You know those people that like are nice to spiders? They like put them in a cup, like to transport them to a nice place.
No,
no, that's wrong.
I take a salt gun and then shoot them.
Oh yes, another good memory.
But back to your question.
Yeah, sorry about that.
This is probably my favorite animated movie.
Oh,
but I'm a Studio Ghibli fan.
Oh, I forgot about the Studio Ghibli films.
So,
but like, this is I'm gonna stand by my answer. But I totally
like
understand.
I love Howl's Moving Castle,
and
I love Spirited Away, of course. And then Castle in the Sky is another one, right?
I think I can list a bunch of them because we were just talking about them yesterday. I think that's another one though.
Or Princess Mononoke, I like that one a lot too.
Dude, I've never seen it. I really want to watch that movie. One.
Or Totoro.
Totoro. My neighbor Totoro.
That one's okay. Spirited Away, I think, is the best one by far.
That's my favorite one.
I never liked Ponyo too much.
What the frick's the deal with Ponyo? We got Ponyo when it came out. Never spoke to me.
Yeah.
They're doing 3D animation now.
Why?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Remember 3D TVs?
Oh,
It lasted a year.
What a weird time.
Yeah.
3D TVs. And they made games that had 3D capabilities.
Yeah, like Black Ops.
The Killzone Shadowfall.
No.
Didn't it?
I don't think so.
Was it Killzone 3? It was
Maybe.
Killzone 3.
Yeah, it was Killzone 3.
Oh, by the way, speaking of 3D, this movie, when I first saw it, tripped me the heck out. Because it looks almost like you need 3D glasses.
Almost, yeah.
I literally thought I went into the wrong theater. And that I was in the 3D version of the theater. I almost got up and walked out to go get my 3D glasses.
Uh-huh.
So that was a really weird
Was
experience.
this movie in 3D at some point?
I don't think so.
That would have been pretty cool.
I wonder if it would have worked. It would have been cool though. But yeah, I was like, I literally thought I was in the wrong theater.
Are 3D movies ever really 3D though?
They're always bad.
Yeah.
They never work. Can I tell you another story about when I thought I was in the wrong theater?
Sure.
So, I don't know what movie we went to see, but every once in a while my family will go to the movies. We love going to the movies. And I think we were going to see, it was like a whim thing, you know? We just saw a movie was in the theater and we just didn't have anything better to do. And it was like a Friday night. So we're like, yeah, let's go to the movies. And like I said, I can't remember what it was, but it was supposed to be a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember distinctly that I was kind of excited. And it was something we were all kind of, you know, looking forward to. And we're in there, and all the trailers play, and then another trailer starts. And it's for Miley Cyrus's The Climb. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
So we go through it, and I'm like, and they play some songs, and it opens, and it's telling you who's in the movie. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is a long trailer. And I like look at my dad, I'm like, dude, this is a long trailer. He's like, yeah, it's really weird. But I guess, you know, sometimes they must have a deal with the theater or with this other production company to put a really long trailer in. It's been like 5-6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. And we're sitting, and eventually it's been 20 minutes. And we realize it is not a trailer. And for some reason, we just decided to watch The Climb.
Why?
I don't know. Anyways, so I will never be able to escape Miley Cyrus's The Climb. Anyways, excuse us for this extremely long detour. The point is, I would freak out if a spider was on me.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story? I'm so sorry. I was on my mission, and in North Carolina, they have the biggest bugs ever. Like, terrifyingly huge bugs. And specifically, they have these wasps. These wasps.
It's terrible.
And these wasps are, like, black. And they're the size of your thumb. Yeah.
That's a big wasp.
Yeah, everyone look at your thumb. It's awful. And so my companion knew, and you call the person that you're proselyting with or that you're working with your companion. It's just like a quick word for him. Anyways, I was with my companion, and he knew that I was terrified of these bugs. And we'd gone up like a flight of stairs to knock on a door to see if anyone was home and to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And no one answered, and it was like an outdoor kind of approach, you know, like an apartment complex where there's like wooden stairs that go up and like to a wooden landing.
Okay.
Anyway, so second floor of that. And he looks at me and he says, Elder Castro, because you go by Elder as like a title, I guess, with your last name. He said, Elder Castro, don't look down. There's something scary on your chest. And like an idiot, I just looked down. I should have just trusted him. But he's laughing, so he wanted me to. Anyway, so I start to look down, and on my tie is the biggest black wasp I've ever seen in my entire life. And I remember seeing its eyes.
No.
Staring at me.
Oh my god.
Like it was like, you're next. And I knew I was going to die. I knew it was all over. And I literally, in my mind, like blacked out. And next thing I know, I'm like down the stairs in the street, like hitting myself furiously. And like my backpack or like my satchel that I carry that had my stuff in it was gone.
Uh-huh.
My like first two buttons were undone. I was like freaking out.
Dude.
And he was just like on the ground laughing.
I would never freak out if a wasp was on me.
I had no choice. I didn't even, the blackout freaked out. I don't take responsibility for my actions. But it was terrifying.
That's scary.
It's straight up down a flight of stairs into the street. No recollection.
So, I have been terrified by spiders before.
And I have the same reaction. I have the same reaction to spiders sometimes.
Where you freak out?
Yeah, but like I'll approach them like I'm hot stuff and I'm not scared. But the second they move at me, I'm like a tiny, terrified little girl.
Well, the worst is when you swing and miss and they run away.
Yes. Have they ever run at you? Like they're not afraid of you?
Oh, maybe.
Because
like
that's
a
the most
black
terrifying
widow.
thing ever.
But have you ever heard of a camel spider?
Oh,
You know what that is, right?
I do.
It's giant pincers.
Yeah, and they're actually like a scorpion, but they're huge.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They're terrifying. I have found 2 in my house before.
No.
Yes.
How? Why?
And I had no idea what it was at first. I just remember screaming like a ah!
And that was your scream?
Yeah. And I took a shoe and hit it as hard as I could. And it was still moving. And I just remember like half its body was guts. But it was still moving and like biting with its pincers.
It was coming for you. He wasn't going to give up.
Those things are so terrifying. And they have like black beady eyes. I think they only have 2 eyes.
They only need 2.
They're like humans. I see a face when I see a camel spider.
I see their face in the dark.
And I think the second one I killed was outside of my house and I just stomped on it.
Do you have like a tally on like what's the thing at the top of your bed called? The headboard?
Mm-hmm.
On the headboard, there's like a tally of like
camel spiders
I've murdered.
No, but the worst thing is like I will have recurring dreams of killing these 2 spiders.
In just their eyes looking at you.
But sorry, I was thinking about spider stories and that came to mind.
That's my second favorite Spider-Man movie is the one you just told me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What did I even ask you? What had this happen?
I don't know.
I was asking you about how you would react.
Oh, that's right.
If you would react like Miles did with like complete calm. And the answer apparently is actually no. Miles is the biggest man with the biggest balls.
But if it was a red and blue spider, I would know what it was. Because that means it's a spider. That's like a Spider-Man spider.
That's a Spider-Man spider. I would let it bite me some more.
Yeah.
Give me some more powers. And that was another question. I was going to ask you this later, but just go quick, fast forward to it.
Yeah.
If you were bit by a Spider-Man spider, otherwise known as a red and blue spider.
An American spider.
There's some white on there, I'm sure. An American spider. What powers would you develop? Because there's like the common spider powers, but Miles gets like a venom strike.
Yeah.
And
invisibility.
Spider-Man Noir gets color blindness. I suppose. So what power would you develop if you were to develop another power? And it can be a choice. Like what would you want to develop?
Never thought about this. No one's ever asked me this.
No one's ever asked you what spider power you'd develop? Because I have a few comments about Miles, if you'd like me to talk about his for a second, what you think.
No. You tell me what yours are.
Oh, no. I think my powers would be dumb.
I think mine would be really dumb, too.
I feel like my power would be, if I curled into a ball underwater, I could, like, trap oxygen. So I could breathe for a really long time underwater.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that to a spider?
I thought you were going to say if I've ever done that to myself.
You ever curled underwater to hold some oxygen to your face?
No, I've never done that to a spider.
I've got another spider story for you.
What?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Okay.
So when my dad left the military and we came to California, we rented a place for a really long time and saved up money. And eventually we bought the place that we live now. And it has a in-ground swimming pool in the backyard. And one of my sister's jobs around the house was to clean it, right? But we live kind of out in the really out of the suburbs. We're kind of in the country, you might say.
Yeah.
Definitely the outside of the city. And you would know this because you live out here too. But the thing is that when you live next to all the fields and stuff, these big old spiders come. And some of these spiders can be like the size of the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And I just admitted to being pretty scared of spiders, but my sister is next level afraid of spiders. Like, she routinely will scream at the top of her lungs if there's a spider the size of, like, her pinky nail.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous. Anyway, she's terrified, like blackout afraid. She's an arachnophobe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the thing is that spiders, they really like to be in like dark, cold places. And so one of the places they liked most was the lip of the swimming pool.
Ugh.
And they'll hide there. Anyway, so when she's cleaning it out and she's putting chlorine into it or whatever, she would routinely find spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this one time that she found a spider, and it was, I kid you not, the size of the palm of my hand. Its body was probably the size of, like the fat, meaty part of your hand where the thumb connects to the palm. And then the rest was legs.
Why?
Legs for days.
It's a wolf spider?
It was a big old wolf spider. And so they're not really dangerous. They're just creepy.
Yeah.
And if they bit you, I'm sure it would hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, this spider is trying to murder her, so she says. And she eventually catches it in the net and shoves it underwater.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know what to do. So she just catches it, swirls it around, and puts it underwater, leaves it out there for 8 hours. Because we just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take this thing out and squish it.
Ugh.
I feel like it would have... How many guts would come out of this spider? It makes shivers down your spine trying to think of squashing it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so our logic is nothing can survive underwater for 8 hours. Plot twist. Spiders can. So the spider, we pull it out of the water and we're going to smash it just to, for good measure. The double tap.
Yeah.
And we put it on the concrete and we're about to go in and kill it. And it's like in a ball, like spiders do when they die.
Mm-hmm.
And right as we're about to kill it, it like springs to life. It starts to sprint at us.
Oh my gosh.
I've never been more scared in my life. When you run away from something and your knees like go past your chin?
Yeah.
It was like that. And our only the tips of our toes are touching the ground. Just like pop, 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 like trying to get away from the spider. And it's just running at us with no fear.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually one of us smashes it and it's disgusting. But we learned later that what spiders do is as they're going in the water, they curl themselves up, and because of the hairs on their legs, they can capture a bubble of water.
Or
and they
oxygen.
Of oxygen, yeah. Sorry, the opposite of water, air. They capture a bubble of air, and they can use that air underwater for up to like 16 hours.
That's crazy.
So don't flush don't flush the spiders down the toilet, because they will come back for you, and they will get like your butt. So yeah, there's a cautionary tale for all you people who are gonna flush spiders down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that would be my power probably. That was a very long-winded way of saying that I would have a stupid power like being able to hold oxygen to my face.
I would like to jump really high.
Dude, that'd be a dope power.
Like really fast and really high.
Isn't that kind of one of his powers though?
He can never jump. Like I want to jump really far.
like no webs required.
No webs.
You would be the webless man. The webless Spider-Man.
Oh.
Hello. He's the amazing Spider-Man. You're the webless Spider-Man.
That's right.
Would you like get little gliders?
Yeah.
Under your armpits?
Yeah.
So you'd be flying in the air and I'd just be underwater for 8 hours at a time.
Like I want to jump on top of a skyscraper from the ground level.
You want to be Superman, but you just don't know it.
I want to be Superman, but everyone likes me.
I want to be Superman, but likable. No, that's good. But I think that's a great answer. So thank you.
No, thank you.
I want to be able to jump.
I feel so
really
bad
far.
for everyone who lives on like the other side of the world, or
do you mean Asia or New York?
Other side of the world. Like other side of the world or Southern Hemisphere.
Okay.
Because I've seen videos of like spiders the size of hands.
Oh yes.
In the toilets.
Why?
In the shoes.
The shoes. In the shoes.
Like there's spiders in Australia that will go after your dog. Like
your dog knows to be afraid.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
For all of our many Australian listeners,
Mm.
we apologize for the abominations that you live with.
Maybe they deserve it.
Ooh. They were prisoners at one point.
Yeah.
We don't want you to listen anymore, Australia. But yes, I'm trying to oh yeah, okay, so I asked you what spider power you would have. You gave me a good answer.
Thank you.
It was at the very least passable. And let's get let's try to get back to the story. I was going to ask you really quickly and not get back to the story at all like I said we would. Have you ever read a Miles comic?
No.
Ooh.
I know what they are, though. Ultimate Spider-Man.
I know what they are as well.
I have seen the pictures.
I saw the picture that's in the movie.
But I don't know a story, like a Miles Morales story from a comic book.
The only stories I know are the ones from,
Peter Parker.
From this.
Okay.
From Miles, is from this movie. And I guess the one you would know otherwise is the one from the game, which I assume is pretty similar, just without the spider people.
Yeah. It's like, without the spider people, and Miles he's not a middle schooler, he's in high school.
Yeah, so it's not as weird.
Yeah.
Talk about why it's kind of odd that he's a middle schooler.
There's no puberty jokes.
Yeah, do you think that he's in middle school purely to facilitate the puberty jokes?
Yes.
We know, Phil Lord. And whatever your friend is.
And whatever you're into.
Oh, Christopher Miller. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because that's almost your name.
Almost. Except it has a generic last name.
What a loser.
Miller.
Milling weed over here like a loser. You just were in the middle.
It's probably from Ohio or something.
Oh, you don't got to roast him that hard. Sorry to all our whole Ohio listeners.
They're fine.
They're fine. I was going to tell you one fact that I learned, which may or may not be a fact, but I read it, so it's probably a fact.
Yes.
Can you guess the 3 inspirations for the creator of Miles Morales? Also, first of all, guess when it came out. The first Miles comic.
Ooh. I want to say 2008. No, 2006.
You sure?
Why not?
2011.
See, I was thinking it was later, too.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
That's really recent.
Yeah.
So, can you then guess the 3 inspirations that were cited for it?
For Miles?
Yeah, for the creator of the comic, whose name I don't remember. It starts with a B. Both of his names start with a B.
Are these like just popular figures?
Yeah. It's like popular figures.
Barack Obama is one of them?
Barack Obama is one of them. Like his becoming president.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's 2 others. There's 3 of them.
Where's the Puerto Rican coming?
I don't know.
So that's not one of the...
Let me think. Because for some reason now I'm real... Oh, no. It does not come into it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just part of making his character. Maybe part of him being in Brooklyn.
Well, it's definitely a New York thing.
Exactly.
And he's not from Brooklyn.
Yeah, he is.
I thought he's from Yonkers.
Yonkers?
Yeah.
Is that in the game?
No, it's...
In the movie, he's from Brooklyn. I could have sworn.
I thought he moved out of his hometown into Brooklyn.
I don't think so.
Because they were trying to get out of, like...
I think you're thinking about the game. Cause
there is a name for it.
In the movie, he only lives in one place. And he talks about Brooklyn a bunch.
Forest Hills. But... Oh, yeah, you're right. It's called something else in the game.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, because in the game they move.
Yes.
But in the movie they don't.
You're right. My bad.
But I'll tell you one of the things, because you would never guess it. One of the things is that the author had just adopted 2 kids, and they were both black.
Okay.
But there's one other person who inspired Miles Morales.
So Barack Obama
and the 2 adopted kids. And then there's one more that has at times been quite important to us. Oh, what?
Johnny Appleseed? I don't
know. I was way off base. A couple centuries too early. It was Childish Gambino.
That makes sense.
It's because in Community, he wore Spider-Man pajamas in one episode or something.
You're right. Yeah.
So, which is wild, because I don't think Childish Gambino knew that.
So
didn't he campaign to be Miles Morales for a long time?
I think, so he voices Miles in the animated series.
There's an animated series?
Yeah.
I'm a bad fan.
And I believe he used to rap about wanting to be the Black Spider-Man.
He did, yeah.
That's funny. I should have guessed that. I wasn't thinking about that, though.
You were too busy thinking about Johnny Appleseed over here.
Some reason.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool that was his inspiration.
Then why is Chance the Rapper's album poster in Miles's room?
It is?
Yeah. Acid rap.
Oh, you're right.
Which
I mean, it's contemporary.
Like I don't like that.
A lot of people love acid rap. I feel like Miles would have probably liked acid rap.
See, this is where we're going to to diverge, I think, because I don't like the music in this movie.
Dude.
And I don't like his taste in music.
I love the music in this movie. Now, this is the other thing, though. I don't like pretty much any music done by these artists in other projects. But just the way the music fits into the story,
I guess.
I just really love. And Sunflower, for me, I don't like listening to it, but it holds a special place in my heart because my wife and I we just jam out to that song.
Mm-hmm.
And it was being played literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I would go to school, and in the cafeteria, what's playing? Sunflower. I go to my class, and what's the girl next to me listening to loudly on her headphones? Sunflower. I go home, and what do I hear playing in the car that passes by me? Sunflower. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, the song was literally everywhere. And so it's really evocative of that time frame for me.
That makes sense.
And then the other songs, I just like them.
Okay.
And they go really well with what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, again, I couldn't imagine these scenes without the music.
I felt like there was too much music also in them.
There's a lot of music. Usually I don't notice, like, the music in a movie. Usually it kind of fades in the background. But it's very forward.
Yeah.
With the music in this. I mean, did you like the song by Biggie when he's tagging the wall?
Oh, of course.
I mean, that's awesome. What about do you like the Lil Wayne song when he's like really coming into his own? And he's like, isn't it the song where when he like jumps off the building and he finally has his own suit?
Yeah, so I like those two scenes, but I don't like Post Malone.
And this is the thing, Post Malone, if you're listening to this, I do not like Post Malone at all. I'm not a Post Malone fan. That? I want you to know. Actually, I don't, because I was really scarred by one of his music videos. So, another story. Post Malone, he did this music video. I don't even remember the song. And you know how YouTube will just play it?
Yeah.
If you're like hovering over it? I'd never heard it. So I was like, oh, I'll listen to it, watch it. Anyways, it's the one where he gets shanked. And he like goes to like a river canal. And he like meets other guys, and they're gonna fight pretty much for like pink slips for their cars or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy stabs him in the neck, and it's like really graphic.
Mm-hmm.
There's like blood coming through his fingers, and he dies.
Wow. Okay.
Anyways, it scarred me deeply. It was just, and I don't know what it was about it because I've seen like gore and blood. It was just really disturbing the way it happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Post Malone, I don't like your music, but I'm scared of you because that music video scarred me. So don't come after me, please. And don't watch this podcast.
They're not watching anything.
God. Now Post Malone's going to come get me. Are you going to give me a Funko Pop of Post Malone?
Oh.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't be so mean.
You wouldn't be so cruel.
Yeah.
But thank you. I'm very glad that we have a relationship that wouldn't contribute to you giving me a Post Malone Funko Pop.
Me too.
I already have him in my nightmares. I don't need that. Anyways, but yeah, I don't like his music. And I'm not even sure I like Sunflower. I just like everything that came to me because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other music I actually like quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
But I understand. I get why you wouldn't like some of it.
All of it.
All of it except 2 songs. So was there a particular part where you were like, this isn't right with the music? Or was it just in general, like a general dissatisfaction?
I didn't want to be like, oh, this is that person's song in the movie. I just don't like when licensed music is in movies.
Really?
Something bugs me about it.
Like in Miley Cyrus's The Climb?
Perfect example.
It's a perfect example. Thank you, Miley. But yeah, I understand. I really like it in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like it teaches you a lot about Miles.
Or if it's in the movie, I want it to be diegetic.
What do you mean?
So it's music that's happening in the world.
Oh,
and
I
it's
understand.
not being played to the audience. It's in the world, so then it's just in the background.
Ironically, like Sunflower.
Ironically, yeah.
No, that makes sense. And I guess you could probably say the same song or same thing about when he's tagging.
Mm-hmm.
You could imagine that they're playing it. Actually, they might play it on the boombox.
I think they are, yeah.
Evidently, we don't know anything about what we're talking about.
No.
But yeah, I agree with that, and I definitely understand it. And we might come back to the music in a bit, but I want to ask you about a couple character designs.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Kingpin?
I thought he's awesome.
Isn't he?
I love how huge he is and how much of a square he is.
Oh yeah, baby.
This is just very striking design. I mean, just
I love his scatting as he ominously walks forward. That was the best scatting I've ever heard. I love the shot of Kingpin where it's like all black because his shoulders are so huge.
Yeah.
And it's just like his little white face in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
Yeah. I like his little white face.
His little white face.
I love the scene where he's clicking the pin.
Yes.
That's a great scene.
Boo-ba-doo. And he says his accent. Oh, baby. I just love everything about Kingpin.
Yeah. He's really good in this movie.
He's a fantastic
I'm not
villain.
a big Kingpin fan, like, ever.
I didn't think I was.
I hated him in the 2018 Spider-Man.
You did?
I did not like him.
I thought he was fine. I don't know why I sounded that surprised.
He's just so generic and boring.
So what do you think, like, what's the difference? How did they make it so much better?
Because they made him more... He's just a striking art piece. He's, like, abstract. He's something that almost doesn't belong with what's around him.
He's so ridiculously large.
Yeah, he's almost like... He's like a comic book.
Whoa!
Or he's like some sort of being. Like, is he human even? Like,
honestly, I got you. I can understand.
He's like some sort of monolith.
He's a monolith. No, but it's true though. I mean, he's literally like the size of an elephant in this movie. But I love him. He's awesome. And what do you feel about his backstory and like his motivations? Because I think that plays a lot into like what makes him a compelling bad character.
Yeah, I mean, he is like Magneto from X-Men.
Yeah.
Because he has great intentions, but he just goes about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Because I like Magneto.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if you feel that. Okay, good. I really, really like Magneto. I think he's a great villain.
So in this movie, Fisk just wants to bring back his wife and child.
Yeah.
Who died in a car accident due to seeing Fisk's, I don't know, what he does.
Yeah, they like realized, that he's an awful violent man.
Yeah, he's like, who's he?
He was fighting Superman. He was fighting Superman. He was fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was like holding him up against a wall. I was going to punch him.
Mm-hmm. And then they walk in and see him, and then they leave, and then he chases after them, and then they get in their horrible car accident. So great intentions, but he's going to blow up the city.
But he wants his wife. What does he say? He says like, sometimes it ain't about the money, Spider-Man. Gosh darn it, I love it.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Gosh darn it, I love you, Kingpin.
Yeah, he was done very well in this movie, visually and narratively.
Well, let's talk about a couple other villains then. I think we're just not going to be able to get through beat by beat the entire story. We would just be talking for hours.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about with each scene.
Exactly. Like, because you can talk about the art, you can talk about the music, you can talk about the writing. It's like it's a movie, but it's just really well done. So how about we try to hit on the villains and then go through each character?
Sounds good.
Okay, so tell me about the ensemble villains. Were there any that you really liked? Did any stick out to you?
Liv Octavius.
Love her.
Love her.
Love her. Or
Did
hate
not
her,
see that coming.
Right? Oh, so you were surprised by it?
Oh, totally.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Right.
Because I was, you're always used to seeing Otto.
Oh, Otto.
Otto Octavius. But no, she was a great character. Very quirky.
I love how deadpan she is.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved her.
Unfeeling. She's awesome. And how did you feel about like her design, especially when it's contrasted with the auto design that we saw in 2018 Marvel Spider-Man and in the second best, in my personal opinion, Spider-Man movie ever made, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey. How do you feel about the contrast in design?
That was great. It was definitely like, oh, here's this high-tech Doc Ock, pretty much.
And it's like...
She's sexy.
Yeah, it's got like a sexiness to it, and it's also just so smooth and streamlined. Like it's the next level of Doc Ock. Yeah. Like I love the almost squishy looking tentacles.
Yeah, they're not metal or
automatous.
They're almost digital.
Yeah.
In a way,
They're so cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
is there any scene with her that stuck out to you? Because I don't want to dominate. I just have so many things to say. I'm sure you do too.
I love the scene when she straps Spider-Man to the chair at first, and then you find out it's her. And pretty much every scene that she's in, I'm looking at her.
Yeah, she just steals the screen.
She just steals it. So, yeah.
Oh, she's awesome. I love when she like slices the tree down the middle and at the bottom and then like rips it in half and comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's actually a great scene when she's not in action, is when she's typing at the mainframe and her tentacles are doing other things behind her on the computers. Cool. I thought that was a really neat shot.
I love when they use the tentacles for more than just, what you might imagine.
Yeah.
Like I love
fighting and grabbing.
Yeah, grabbing. I love I love that. I thought that was cool. And I love when she like talks to Kingpin after the spider people get away from her in the forest. And she kind of like raises herself up to be at his level.
Yeah.
I just think it's great.
Yeah.
She's a great character.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, Phil Lord. Sorry, Christopher Miller.
You said my name.
You're the same level for me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you should feel bad. Probably from Ohio, too.
Oh, you know. This is how they talk in Ohio.
Apparently. But what other ensemble villain would come to mind? What would be the next most important one for you?
I mean, Prowler.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Prowler completely.
But besides Prowler, I'm gonna be honest, the rest of them fall so flat.
Oh,
I do not care about any of them.
I certainly don't care about them.
It's Scorpion and Mundy, right?
Who's Mundy?
Maybe it's not Mundy. I think that's from Batman. Or Gravestone. Tombstone.
It's Tombstone.
Yeah. Nah, I don't care about either.
I don't know what Tombstone's doing there. He's just a henchman.
Yeah.
Kind of pointless. I like Scorpion.
Tombstone just looks like Frankenstein to me in this movie.
I don't get what the point of him is. Does he? I feel like he's a biker in Marvel's Spider-Man 2018. You don't even remember him, do you?
I do. But he's like a big lumbering guy.
Yeah, he's a big lumbering guy. He's a biker, and that's it. I felt like it was kind of a weird move to make him some Frankenstein hitman.
Henchman almost.
Yeah.
Not even hitman.
It was very, very weird.
But
I didn't like
Prowler.
it either.
I did not like Prowler's design in this.
He looks very weird.
He looks very Pixar animated. Like he has the very large claw gloves with his cape and this really weird hood.
And like the giant popped collar kind of look to him.
Yeah, I didn't like his design at all. But Prowler or Aaron Davis as a character is just a great character.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really important and vital to the narrative. Aaron's death brings Jefferson and Miles closer.
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier, Jefferson and Aaron were on the fritz. They've separated. They haven't spoken in years.
Yeah.
And with him dying, Jefferson is basically telling Miles that you shouldn't shut people out because you never know when you're gonna lose them forever.
Exactly.
Which is feelings that I've had for a long time.
Yeah.
Like when I think about people that I used to know, I'm like, man, I should reach out to them or something because you never know. Even with family members, it's a very good message to receive.
It makes you want to.
It's a good reminder.
Reach out to those people. Yeah.
That brings Miles and Jefferson together, and so he's very important in life and in death.
Yeah, he's integral to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And but I do agree with you. That character design is whack.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It was probably Christopher's fault.
Just didn't fit.
It's just like I think that's the perfect word for it is fit. Like it feels kind of out of place.
Feels almost too childish.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like at least Spider-Man's costume that he actually wears makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a skin tight suit.
Yeah.
And like, even Tombstone, like, it makes sense. He's just a gun-toting dude.
Guy.
And like Octavius, again, she makes sense. And then Scorpion is ridiculous. But like,
I think
it makes sense.
That's what it is. Everyone else is very streamlined.
Yeah, and their designs look great and they feel
slick
great.
and they fit. but Prowler's is not streamlined. It feels like a few steps backwards.
Yeah, it's just bulky and chunky. And
yeah.
I like the purple.
Yeah, purple's a great color.
But it just seems, again, like just ridiculous. But granted, maybe like
it doesn't
maybe
even
that's the hallmark of his design.
I don't know. It doesn't even fit Aaron as a character.
I don't think so.
It reminds me of like that costume should be in like an old Boomerang cartoon.
Yeah, I could see that. Like a villain in a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, or something like that. I don't know.
And like, but you know, all that said, I still think Prowler's a great character. And at the very least, the stinger of when he's coming, like or whatever they do, is perfect. And I think that the chase scenes with Miles, even though I don't like his design, I think they're really effective at making you tense, and Miles really sells his fear. So.
Yeah.
But I like it. But tell me this. Did you know that Uncle Aaron was the Prowler? Oh, you played the game first.
Yeah.
Darn you. So you knew.
But I knew he was the Prowler before I even played the game.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Just little nuggets of knowledge that I have.
Little nugs you've picked up on the ground.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's fine.
I scuttle for them. I sniff under the carpet.
You gotta race the camel spiders for the nuggets.
Yeah. Well, they keep taking them. You know, I kill them.
You'll get 3 on that board someday. But that's interesting. For some reason, and it's obvious at the same time, it's telegraphed heavily. I did not realize. So I remember when I was first watching it, and he takes off his mask, and it's Uncle Aaron. I was like, what? What?
That's a nice feeling. I wish I had that.
It was a good feeling, man. Because I was like genuinely surprised. And immediately I was like, I should not have been surprised by that. Yeah. But I'm so sorry that you didn't get to experience that. That's kind of a bummer.
It's fine. I had Liv Octavius.
That's true. And that was surprising. So, Well, I guess do you want to say something about Scorpion, or do you have anything else to say about the Prowler?
Scorpion is ridiculous.
I love him so much. He's ridiculous. He's hilarious. I like him more than Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Scorpion. Granted, I've never been like a giant Scorpion fan, because who's a Scorpion fan? But I kind of liked him.
I mean, I liked Scorpion's design a lot better in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I love his design in this. It's
really
wild.
He looks...
Like, what were they smoking? He looks so ridiculous.
He looks like a 90s like cartoon villain.
Oh, I love him.
Like where his name is Scorpion, but it feels like he's called Scorpion because half of his body is a scorpion's body.
Yeah, baby, he's literally a scorpion. I love it.
It's
weird, like prosthetic legs.
Yeah.
But no, I totally get it. Because like, who, when their life falls apart, thinks to themselves, "Let me get 6 prosthetic legs and a stinger attached to my body."
How desperate was Fisk when he was hiring people?
I mean, I would be excited if I found a guy that's committed.
I guess he lost Goblin, so he had to replace him somehow.
Oh yeah, what happened to Goblin? I guess he died.
What did happen?
I guess he died.
I guess he died.
I mean, I would probably die if a collider like exploded and fell on top of me.
I hope.
I didn't even think about that till now.
Yeah.
I guess he's dead.
I hope if there's ever a sequel and they make Hobgoblin, I hope his head is actually like a jack-o'-lantern.
I mean, if you look at their design so far, it certainly could be. It's actually a pumpkin. He just dies after 3 months when his head rots.
Sandman is a pile of sand.
He's like Ponyo.
Yeah.
But sand.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Sandio.
But I'm glad that you didn't like Scorpion, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Sorry,
Scorpion. Sorry, Christopher. You probably designed Scorpion.
Or Tombstone.
Lazy. You Oscar winners. But tell me, Chris.
Yes.
Who of the Ensemble Spider cast, or just the Ensemble cast in general, was stuck out to you the most?
Jefferson Davis.
Why did he stick out to you? Is it because Dad?
Just because Dad.
Because Dad.
He's a well-written dad.
He's a super well-written dad. Say I love you.
I love you.
That's a copy.
Yeah, I mean, the dad is very dorky, but he's really stern at the same time. So I like him a lot.
I love how he reacts when Miles asks him how he feels about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's like, babe, you know how I feel about Spider-Man. It's just like, he just hates Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's like a really serious moment, but he's just being himself. I don't know. I love everything about Jefferson Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you feel the same way.
And obviously Peter B. Parker is such an amazing character who resonates with us for some odd reason.
I just love him.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you find those characters where you just really relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, not that I've gone through a divorce or whatever, but it's just like, man, I feel like I could be Peter B. Parker. I love him.
Yeah. I almost felt crestfallen for Miles when Peter B. Parker was webbing him to the chair and taking what's it called?
The gizmo. The goober.
The goober. I was supposed to say the booger. But he takes the goober away from him. That's probably my favorite scene.
Their little interaction
when Peter B. Parker is telling him, like, you'll never know when you're ready because it's a leap of faith.
Oh, yeah. What a great message, too.
Yeah.
And then I love when that scene is kind of echoed later when Miles is saying goodbye to Peter and trying to get him to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's like, how do I know when I'm going to be ready? Oh, yeah. It's a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And he, lets go of Miles' hand. Oh, my gosh. So
great
good.
Scene. Great
so
scene.
Good.
But the rest of the Spider-Men...
Because the rest get much less screen time.
Yeah.
No, but tell me, out of the rest of them, which would you say made you laugh the most?
I didn't laugh.
Dude, you didn't think they were funny?
I thought the funniest was Spider-Man Noir.
He's great.
But the rest of them, no.
That's interesting. I get Peter Porker not being funny. I feel like some of his jokes don't hit. Which is ironic because he hits things with his hammer.
Yeah.
They don't hit.
And then Penny Parker...
Does she try to be funny?
I don't think so.
I feel like she's just, there to be diverse. Not for diversity's sake, but to add flavor is what I mean.
Yeah.
I kind of like Penny. I don't dislike Penny.
The rest of them are just there, it feels like.
I mean, Peter Porker and Penny can't have more than 15 lines each. Max.
Penny Porker's in it quite a bit.
Penny is? What does she say?
Sorry, Peter Porker. Peter Porker.
I like his line at the end. The Looney Tunes reference, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you float through the air when you smell delicious pie?
Oh my God.
I love him. I love all of them. But I do agree, though, that Spider-Man Noir is probably my favorite. Just had some funny lines.
Because of Nick Cage and his performance.
Love the Cage, man.
If it was anybody else, I wouldn't have cared for Noir.
It wouldn't have worked. Were there any lines that stuck out to you from him? Any moments, perhaps?
It's another Liv Octavius thing where every scene that he's in, I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Or listening to what he has to say. But none come to the top of my head, so.
That's okay. And he's got such a striking design that I personally, as well, whenever he's on the screen, I'm just looking at him.
Mm-hmm. I like how he contrasts with the colored backgrounds. And his black and white looks like a manga almost.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It almost looks like a different movie.
Yeah.
Which I get, again, is the point. We get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still so striking that it's so well done.
Yeah.
And I remembered a line when you said that you didn't remember a line. But it's when they were first introduced. And I think it's a line that a lot of people have actually quoted or whatever. But it's when he's he's introducing himself and he has the match. He says, sometimes I let a match burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And everything he says is so melodramatic and he has the Rubik's Cube and.
Yeah, that was a funny gag throughout the movie.
It was just so good. I don't understand this yet, but I will someday. It's just
and he does.
He does. He solves it.
Good for him.
Good job, Spider-Man Noir. You overcame your power of colorblindness.
Yeah. Or one line that he says, he's like, I love fighting Nazis a lot.
Yeah. Was he drinking egg malts and fighting Nazis or something?
Yeah.
He's super funny. But I like him. I'd say that he's probably my favorite of the ensemble Spider-Man cast, outside of the two main dudes.
Yeah.
So tell me, are there any other thoughts that you had on Peter B. or on Miles? Because, of course, they're the whole movie.
Yeah, it's their relationship that holds the movie together. It makes it cohesive. Because at least we're just following these two main Spider-Men. And the rest of them are just adding flavor, like you said.
Yeah.
Um,
Any scenes with Peter or with Miles that really stuck out to you? I know that's hard because, like I said, that's the whole movie.
It's the whole movie. I definitely warmed up to their relationship as the movie went on, and as soon as they went to the, what was it called, Amtronics?
Alchemex.
Alchemex, thank you. That whole scenario with them breaking into the labs and stealing the computer, and Peter's like, good news, we don't need the monitor. I thought that was pretty funny.
I love when Miles is like stuck to the ceiling.
Yeah.
He's like, Miles, you need to be in the moment. He's like, I'm in the moment. It's a terrible moment. It's like, yeah.
No, I think just any shot with them together is just, there's always going to be something charming or funny about it.
They're just
or
special.
endearing.
They've got, their relationship is just so accessible and endearing. And like you said, I don't think there's a shot with the two of them that doesn't evoke some emotion from you. Whether it's funny or whether it's like melancholy when they're leaving each other, whether it's heartwarming, endearing.
Yeah.
They just have such great chemistry.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, when you first meet Peter B. Parker, you're like, oh, this guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, why are you being mean to Miles? Don't be mean to him. And then the next scene, it's a complete 180.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Like, how impressive is it from a screenwriting standpoint that they can make you feel those two ways so quickly?
Within like 5 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
It is crazy. There's one gripe I have with this movie. And it's not the movie's fault, because I feel like when they do a sequel, it's not going to be there. And it's just I feel like I didn't get to the good parts of the movie until halfway through the movie.
Oh, like lots of setup.
So much setup. And it doesn't help that you are reintroducing every Spider-Man that comes on the screen pretty much. And I feel like they make a gag out of it, because when Noir, Porker, and Penny, they do all three of them at the same time in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know the rest. Or it's like,
it's like, this is a long story.
But it's actually a really short story.
Yeah.
So I feel like this movie was a really slow start. Like, I loved...
why you fell asleep.
Like, I almost felt like I wish it was 2 different movies, but just
expanded.
You know, like, I would have liked a Miles figuring out his powers, and then the next movie be this big thing where the ensemble comes and helps him out.
Like, you almost wish this was a sequel.
Yeah.
I understand.
Or even just like a series, like a TV series.
It would be a great TV series.
It would be.
But I don't know. I do understand, though. I think that there are a couple pacing issues, especially with the beginning. It's just so hard. You know, there's so much story going on. And we mentioned that in the beginning, that it's incredible that this story is even coherent with how much is going on. And yeah, I don't know what they could trim out. But I get what you mean, because of like the times I've watched it, there are times when it feels really short, but there are also times where it feels like this movie's 4 hours long.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess if you're hyper engaged, it's like, oh, that's great. But there's other times when I've watched it and I've not been as, paying as much attention. It's like, man, this movie can really drag. So I totally get what you're saying.
Thank you
You're
for understanding me.
I understand you. Even if people listening might not. You can't say this is bad. You're ridiculous. But no, I get that. Like I said, there are times when I thought it might be paced a little bit bad. But again, I'm looking back and I'm trying to think about what they could have taken out.
That's why I said, like, it's not the movie's
It's
fault.
like it needs to just be extended.
Yeah.
What is there to trim? There's no fat.
It just needs a sequel to, like, balance it out.
And that's something we're going to talk about.
Oh.
With sequels.
Yes.
There are scenes that maybe I'd like to talk about, but we can come back to that just because we already hit on this. What do you think of the ending? Do you want a sequel? If you want one, what would it be like? What do you envision?
I don't know. I would feel like Miles would have to go to another universe.
Ooh, another Spiderverse.
Yeah. Because at the end, he's laying in bed listening to the songs that he listened to when he met Gwen, right?
Yeah, when he met Gwen.
And then this portal opens up, supposedly, and it's Gwen saying, "Hey, do you have a second?"
Yeah,
or something like that.
It seems like quite
It
normal.
seems like she's going to grab him and take him to her place.
I'd like that.
You know?
Because this is the thing. I think that Peter B. Parker shouldn't be in it. I love him. My favorite character in the movie is Peter B. Parker. Be in it? I think his story's over.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, his story is over. He learned his lesson, and he grew, and I don't want to mess with his character anymore. Because they'll just screw it up.
Yeah.
Christopher Miller.
They'll bring Peter C. Parker.
Oh, there we go. But what I would like to see is Spider-Gwen and Miles together. And see what kind of relationship they can form. Because obviously it's heading towards some sort of romance.
Yeah.
Like the good kind of romance where it's like, oh, you know, we're like kids and how do we feel about each other? You know, really nostalgic if you really think about it. And like, I'd love to see them.
It's the awkward chase.
Oh, it's so good. It's like I almost said it's the best thing to watch, but no, I don't. I don't spend time watching middle schoolers engage in
awkward romance.
But you know, in movies, it's like the will they, won't they?
The flirt.
Yeah, you know, the season 2 of The Office, Jim Pam sort of deal, where you're just like watching them flirt with each other, and you know, getting to the point where they decide, like, oh, will we?
Yeah.
But I'd love to see something like that, but I almost want it to be small scale. Like, I almost don't want them to try to reach the same heights in regards to scale.
I don't want more ensembles.
Me either. I just want them.
But they're going to do more ensembles.
Because it's the Spider-Verse series. Because it's not, Miles Morales is not in the title.
And didn't they,
And there's a teaser at the end behind the credits that I don't think you saw.
I didn't, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's what, Spider-Man 2099? Or whatever that year is.
It's like Hombre de Arañas or something. I don't know. It's like it's a Hispanic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's definitely in the future.
Also, the suit from Spider-Man 2018 is in the movie.
Really?
You didn't see that?
No.
When Miles is looking at all the suits.
Oh, I'm stupid. On the wall.
On the left, there's the
black and yellow? Or just the standard suit? Oh, the one with the white.
The white, yeah.
Dude, that's cool. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That's some cool communication going on there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's Sony.
Good job, Sony. You're communicating with yourself.
I wonder if it makes it any easier to make a movie when you own all of it.
I mean, I imagine. Probably easier than what Marvel has to deal with. Or Disney, I mean.
But Disney just screws everything up.
Yeah, we're going to have a whole big shebang, baby. Because some days I'm just, you know, I'm not feeling very happy. I wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And I just want to do a podcast about Star Wars Disney.
Yeah.
And just be mean.
Me too.
So that's coming. I'm sure you don't have to wait long. But yeah, we don't need to leave Disney out of this. Sony did a good job.
You're right.
We're being, you know, we're congratulating them on their good work. But how do you think what Spider-Man 2099 is going to play into this? Do you have any knowledge from the comics? I mean, I have no clue
at all.
What
I
that
just
would
know
do.
what he looks like, and I don't like it. His suit.
I didn't like his suit at all. I hated it.
The worst part of his suit in the game, because you can wear it, is that there's nothing on the back of it.
There isn't?
No, it's just blue. It's really boring and bland. So
it's exactly what he's wearing in like the post-credit scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't like that suit.
Yeah,
I didn't see the back of it, but that's lame. It should have a spider on there. What you doing?
I don't know. I don't read comic books very often.
I hardly read them. I read a lot of Star Wars comics from Black Horse, or Dark Horse, excuse me. Not a Black Horse.
Not the
Dark
Katy
Horse.
Perry song.
Not the Katy Perry song.
Wait, I think that's just called Dark Horse.
Gosh darn it. Katy Perry, you jerk. You messed us up. But yeah, I read a bunch of Star Wars comics and I've read a bunch of Batman comics, and that's literally it. So I couldn't help you either. You're helpless, Chris.
Don't you think I already know this?
I'm sure you realize that fighting the camel spiders. If there is any man as helpless as I.
No, I killed those camel spiders.
They were helpless.
They're dead. That's all that matters.
Their eyes are empty. Anyways. Onwards past the spider killing. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'd like to see from a sequel, is just Gwen and Miles.
I would love that.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
We're going to see another ensemble.
Unless when they call it Into the Spiderverse. Actually, what if they don't call it that?
What if they call it Out of the Spiderverse?
What if they call it Into the Gwenverse?
Into the Gweniverse. The Gweniverse. Oh. Don't call it that, guys. Don't let that idea stick.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what I would want. A small story.
Ultimately, I wish this was a show.
I think that's interesting because
like a 10 episode.
Like a big giant show. Because a big part of me agrees with you, but a small part of me is like,
I feel like they can just, like, if this movie was fleshed out into a season of a show, I think it would be a lot better.
Oh, that could be good. If each episode was like 45 minutes long.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you could have just an episode where it ends with him getting bit. An entire episode of him like
figuring out his
getting
powers.
to like Peter and Green Goblin, right? Figuring out his powers. An entire episode with just, the funeral and meeting Peter B. Parker. And I think you're right. Sony?
I think,
you idiots.
I feel like TV, or not TV, just like limited series are just the way of the future now. Because when people make their movies or their franchises, like, just think about Star Wars. It's never just a one-off Star Wars movie unless it's talking about something that's already happened. But
that's true.
But it's like they start episode 7, and it's going to be another trilogy.
Yeah, that's that you're not going to get to the end of that movie and be done.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, would you rather have 3 movies or 3 seasons where it fleshes out everything that's going on?
I agree with that. I think that like
what would be better? Like, I've never seen really The Mandalorian,
which we'll do an episode about.
Yeah, but it's like, would you rather have 2 movies of The Mandalorian or 2 seasons of The Mandalorian?
You see, this is where it gets interesting, because I would much rather have Mandalorian movies than the TV show. Because the TV show has the same problem that like Dragon Ball Z has, where there's just random filler for no reason.
So I have seen the very last episode of season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I've seen the last episode of season 2. Not by choice. Like, it's just
happened to you.
It just happened to me.
It was thrust upon you.
And in those 2 episodes, I know what you mean. Just by watching it, I was like, this can be shorter.
You could, like, especially season 1. Season 2 got a little bit, quote unquote, better that way.
Mm-hmm.
But you could probably watch episode like 1 and 2 in the last episode, and you would literally miss nothing in regards to like what's going on in the story.
Yeah.
And with season 2, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I mean, you watch like 5 of the episodes, or you watch like 4 of them, you'll know what's going on. You'll get a full story.
Yeah.
And I just have problems with The Mandalorian anyway. But yeah. So it's ironic that I feel that way about that. But I totally agree with you in regards to Spider-Man, and I really do think it's the format of the future. I think that's how we're going to consume the media that means the most to us.
I feel like with Into the Spider-Verse, the substance of it is too big for the time that is given.
Yeah.
I
understand what you mean. Like, there's so
it's
much.
It's like quantity over quality,
Mm-hmm.
And then The Mandalorian has very
very
minute amount of substance, but it's spread over 2 seasons or whatever.
As Bilbo says, like too much butter over toast, or like butter spread over too much toast or something.
Yeah.
I botched your line, Bilbo. I'm sorry. JRR is rolling in his freaking grave. But yeah, butter spread over too much toast.
I like that.
That's you, the Mandalorian. Sorry about that, Mando. And it's not that bad. I feel like I'm hard on it. But I'm really excited to do an episode with you on it, where we watch, like, all of it.
Yeah.
Because I want to get a greater appreciation for it. Because, like...
Me too.
I must be getting something wrong.
Yeah.
I must be missing something, because I don't like it, and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Thank you for including that segment of The Mandalorian in our Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse podcast, Chris.
You're welcome.
But I think, honestly, it's probably just time for fast ones, huh?
Probably.
I mean, we've covered almost every character. We've talked about what happens in the story.
Some of our favorite scenes.
Our favorite scenes. Oh, can I mention one more scene?
Yeah.
2 more scenes. One for Peter, one for Miles.
Okay.
I love the scene of Peter when he's introducing himself and he's talking about the portal that comes through and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he's first introducing himself, he's talking about when he gets divorced, right? And then he says that he's watching TV and he says the stuff about the seahorses.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a seahorse sees another seahorse and they just make it work? Like, I was just dying. I just love him so much. I thought that was really funny. And then he's going into the portal and he, like, tries desperately to get his slice of pizza. Mm-hmm. He, like, whips it. Anyways, I just love him. So I like that scene with him because I thought it really built his character up to who he is. And then the other scene is with Miles after he's, got his suit, he's spray painted, he's made his own, and he goes up to, like, the highest building he can find. And just this whole section of scenes
that shot
is the greatest achievement in animation. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really
It
good.
makes you feel things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, first of all, he's at the top of this building. I'm Not Scared is playing, which is fantastic. It's perfect for it. And as he, like, lifts off of the glass, you can tell how, like, conflicted he is, but how determined he is, because his hands, like, rip the glass from the building.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, like, so determined that I can't articulate it. But does that make sense? That is, like...
No, absolutely.
It expresses his conflict, but his bravery to me. That he's willing to do it, and the glass rips and it falls with him.
A leap of faith.
Oh, freaking yeah, baby. I just love it. The leap of faith and the 5 panels that appear as he's falling, pop, 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 pop. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. And the way he's, like, falling through the air and the long shots and the shot of him upside down. And
yeah, that whole shot of him, like, sinking to the city almost.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Like, it just evokes such emotion in me. Like, it brings me back to being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just so
those
good.
goosebump moments where you get pumped up and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, like you get up, you're punching the air.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's that good. It's that good. So I don't think we could possibly do a podcast on this movie without somehow trying to express how good that scene is.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to mention that. But tell me, Chris, are you ready for some fast ones?
Okay, now.
Here we go. So these first ones are just every character's name, but I want you to tell me the first word that comes to your mind when I say it, and I'll add my own as well.
Okay.
Peter B. Parker.
Friend.
Good guy. Peter A. Parker. Blonde. Same sentiment.
Huh.
Jefferson Davis.
Dad.
Confederacy.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Uncle Aaron.
Guy.
Punk. Weirdly.
Punk.
I don't feel that way about you, Uncle Aaron, I swear. Penny.
Abraham Lincoln.
You're still on Jefferson Davis. I thought anime because I'm not a freak. All right, tell me. Peter Porker.
Scum.
John Mulaney. I'm just going to start saying they're actors now that I thought that. Darn it. All right, you can't say the actor's name. Spider-Man Noir.
Dark.
Matches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Spider-Gwen.
Bombastic.
Hair. I understand that. Mary Jane.
More like Mary Plain.
Oh, baby. I didn't know you felt that way.
Yeah, she's just there.
I like the 3-word answer. More like... Oh, 4 words. I can't count. More like Mary Plain.
Yeah.
I don't know what mine was. I forgot it.
So plain would be the answer.
Plain. All right. Mary Jane is, I mean, then I just thought of pot because Mary Jane. That's a bummer. Aunt May.
Cool.
Ooh, I thought feisty.
Oh, okay.
Kingpin.
Tiny head.
Huge. That's what I thought. Tombstone.
Boring.
Superfluous.
Why?
He's superfluous.
Okay.
He's just, why is he there? You know, he isn't needed. Doc Ock.
Sexy.
Ooh, hello. Incredible was what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Scorpion.
Stupid.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was speaking Spanish.
Miles Morales.
I just think good.
Oh, that's great. I thought Puerto Rican because I was thinking about Mexico.
Oh.
I was thinking about, you know, where people are from at that point. But I have a better one, which would just be good kid.
Good kid.
You know, that would be my real one. Just, he's a good kid.
Humble.
Humble origins. Humble kid.
Endearing.
Oh, I just love him.
So many words for them.
He's fantastic. You know,
Except
I looked up
for
Shameik
Porker.
Moore, who is the actor for him.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen any other movies he's been in. He's been in other movies that are famous, and I could list them, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get on my phone. But I was just surprised. Like, I'd never heard of this guy before. Had you?
No.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. But I have a couple other questions, more conversational.
Okay.
These are medium ones, you know?
Give them to me.
And we can end with these. This first one's actually a fast one. I tricked you. Uncle Aaron or Jeff Davis?
Jeff Davis.
Easy.
Easy.
Sorry, Uncle Aaron.
Easy peasy.
What's your stance on capes?
I don't like them.
Interesting.
Unless they're on a samurai. I don't know. Some capes are cool. It
If
just
you're
depends.
not Jin Sakai, I don't want to see a cape anywhere near you.
Like, if I were to see like a cape in a Wolfenstein game on like a Nazi,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Why do Nazis look so good in capes?
Yeah.
It's the evil.
Yeah, it is. But like if I'm thinking of a cape on a skin tight suit, it doesn't work.
This doesn't work.
So no.
I like it on Batman,
Yeah.
but literally
But
any
it
other
fits for him
superhero,
only because it's like that's how he glides.
and he is the darkness.
Yes.
No matter what Bane
That's
says,
how he hides.
you know, he hides behind his little cape like a little baby.
Mhm. But why does Superman need a cape?
I don't know. He's stupid. More
Yeah.
like stupid man.
You don't see the Flash wearing a cape.
That would not work. It would rip off of him, wouldn't it?
Isn't Superman faster?
Oh
than
my
the
gosh, you're
Flash?
right. He can turn back time with how fast he is,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense.
No.
But yeah, no, I don't. I agree. I'm not a cape guy.
No.
If you were a superhero, would you have a cape?
No.
Ooh, hello. I mean, how would the cape work if you were jumping that high? It'd
Exactly.
be ridiculous.
Be stupid.
I might have a cape, because then I could hold air better.
I might have a little cape though.
Like a little bib,
Like a half cape.
a little half cape.
Yeah.
Go down to your elbows.
No, I mean like half cape
Oh,
on one
like split down the
side.
middle.
Yeah.
Ooh, what would what would you call that? Oh, like a General Krennic
Yeah.
kind of cape from Rogue One, where it just covers like half his body.
Yes. Mm.
Does that just look good because they're evil? They're just
Yeah.
space Nazis.
Yeah, they are.
So would you be a space Nazi?
I would. No.
Ultimately, what I'm trying to say
I'm
is
a
that I would
space
be a
Nazi.
space Nazi. No, I understand that though. I don't think I'd be a cape guy unless it were to hold oxygen so I could breathe underwater.
There has to be a purpose to everything.
That's right. There's got to be. I mean, we've seen The Incredibles. There's got to be a purpose. No capes. When was the last time you saw The Incredibles?
That's probably 10.
Dude, come on.
I love that movie.
The Incredibles is good. The second one's
You know
kinda
what?
trash.
You know what? The Incredibles is my favorite anime movie.
oh, you had to do them dirty this late in the podcast.
Yeah,
The Incredibles is
Oops.
not better. It's not better.
it is.
Not even close. You know what movie has pacing issues? The Incredibles.
How?
The Incredibles feels like it's 6 hours long.
I like that.
There's like 2 distinct acts, but it's not pleasant. Like I always feel like I watched a complete movie and then a new movie begins when I watch The Incredibles.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it though. It's good, but it's not this good. It turns out we're going to do an entire other episode on The Incredibles. Can you give me your best Edna Mode impression? You haven't seen it since you were 10.
Yeah.
Edna Mode.
Edna Mode.
That was good.
Thank you.
She's like a weird French fashionista.
Yeah.
But yeah. No capes, as Edna would say. No capes. But I guess that's it. I mean, those were my questions. Did you have any questions for me? Any think quicks? Or any quick thinks or any fast ones or
I got a couple here for you.
Oh, hello.
Nothing crazy.
I wouldn't want them to be crazy, Chris. We're trying to relax as we get out of this podcast.
Otto or Olivia?
Liv.
Yeah,
but I do love Otto. Actually, I don't know. Spider-Man 2's Otto or Liv? Otto's the more compelling character.
Who's going to blow up the city?
What is... What?
Well, I can't wait to do that movie.
What?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
There's a very funny line where he's like, I'm going to blow up the city.
I thought you were just moving on to the next question, leaving me hanging. I was like, I don't know. I mean, Kingpin? I do love that movie, though.
So who do you pick?
I would say he's the better character, but she has the better design. So,
because he's just wearing a trench coat and sunglasses.
His design is very odd. It's like they just went to the local park and found the creepy man and then just put some tentacles on him.
I mean, how would you feel after killing your wife? So
the first thing I would do is put on a trench coat.
The Spiderverse suit or Ultimate suit?
Spiderverse.
I agree.
I love the Spiderverse suits, all of them. All 2 of them. Technically all 3. I like Peter B. Parker's when he's got like a trench coat and a boot.
No, I meant
But I mean Miles. I mean Miles.
Yeah.
But I mean like I like all of them. But Miles' Spider-Verse suit's the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
Why does Peter give... Sorry, this is a very minor spoiler for Miles Morales, the video game.
Yeah.
Why does Peter give him the ugliest frickin' suit for Christmas?
Because he hates him.
He's like, here, you want some elbow pads, you loser?
You know, if Peter had the old face, he wouldn't have given him that suit.
If he had the old face, he would have been nice and
he would have given him
suit.
the Auto-Ox suit.
Right? Like, come
or
on,
the
dude.
Anti-Ox
The Anti-Ox
suit.
suit.
The Auto-Ox suit.
Like, he did him dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, he just gave him like a roller derby costume.
Pretty much.
And Miles is excited. I'm like, Miles, open your eyes. Have you seen Peter's suit?
The mask Miles is wearing in the beginning is better than the mask that Peter
Straight
gives
up.
him.
I immediately in the settings just turned it back to like his street clothes.
Yeah, me too.
So, a little side note for you there. Insomniac.
Peter Parker or Peter B. Parker?
Peter B. Parker.
Toby Parker or Peter B.
Peter
Parker?
B. Parker.
You're crazy.
Nah, dude. Peter B. Parker all the way. And I love Toby. I do really like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no contest. Peter B. like destroyed. I love him. He destroyed my heart, and now he is my heart, and he lives there instead of my heart.
Go on.
That's private.
I have a little piece of trivia for you.
Ooh.
Do you know Genki Lee?
Yeah, it's his like friend, right?
Yeah. He had a bigger part in this movie.
Was he supposed to be the roommate?
Well, he is the roommate.
I imagine. They just never say his name in the movie.
Yeah, you just see him. But he used to have a really big part in the movie.
Oh.
But they took him out because in Homecoming, they had a character kind of like Genki.
Oh, Ned.
Ned, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty much the same deal.
So they took him out.
Oh, that's sad.
It is kind of sad because Genki's a really good character in the video game.
Yeah, I like Genki. I liked him a lot when I was first playing because you're introduced to him in the beginning of Miles Morales. It's probably like the first 30 minutes, or like you kind of getting to know Genki.
Mm-hmm. One question: which face model do you like more?
I don't think you agree with me. I like the old one.
Really?
The new one looks weird. I get that it's literally his real face. I'm not a fan though. Like, I can deal with it, but I was really grateful when he left and he wasn't in Miles Morales anymore because I didn't want to see him.
See, you know what? I feel like I just didn't like Peter.
I love Peter.
Because Miles is a better character.
I don't think he is. I just don't think he is. And that's not to speak against Miles. It's just I love the classic Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a kid who's just trying to do his best. He's just trying to do his best, and he can't juggle everything, but he does anyway, and he's just so pure and good.
Yeah.
And not that Miles isn't those things, but I love that he's the photographer, and I love Mary Jane. I've always had a crush on pretty much every Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
And just ever since I was a kid, so I don't think I could ever like Miles more.
So, Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane?
Oh, Mary.
Really?
Mary could be a plank of wood. And I would choose Mary Jane. And it's not that I don't like Gwen Stacy. It's just that I love Mary Jane.
What about Gwanda?
Gwanda can go back to South Africa.
Gwanda's also 14 years old. So
yeah.
Good answer,
Dodged
Josh.
a bullet there. No, I'm joking. But no, Mary Jane. I love Mary Jane. I will always be a classic Peter Parker and Mary Jane.
How many Mary Janes have there been in the movies? Only
2.
The animated one and Toby's.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the animated one, but Zendaya.
Zendaya.
I will never say your name correctly.
Zendaya. It's Zendaya.
I'm just going to call her the big Z. Yeah, she's a medium Z. In regards to her importance.
Mm-hmm.
She's a small Z. Sorry, Zendaya. But she's Mary Jane.
That's right. They say that at the end of the Homecoming.
That's the only way you know. So, yeah, she's Mary Jane. How do you feel that they obviously didn't make her a redhead and whatnot? I don't care, I suppose. I don't care.
I feel like they're just trying to be different.
But because I don't care, but it's why don't you just make a new character?
Yeah. Then there'd be some mystique to her.
Because Peter Parker is just the same.
Yeah.
And Ned is, I believe there's been an analog for Ned for a long time.
Yeah,
Genki's Ned.
Pretty much.
It's an Asian roommate who's really good friends with him, and he's kind of a nerd. And
yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes they try to separate themselves from the original content too much. It's not bad, but it feels like they're changing just to change. I
agree with that, and you don't have to. And it's not that I'm resistant to change, because I actually like the Tom Holland movies a lot. But here's the thing, I would say that Marvel's Spider-Man 2018: The Game is probably, in a way, the most derivative Spider-Man story ever told.
Yeah.
Right? It's Doc Ock, the classic Spider-Man villain. It's, a photographer Spider-Man who's with Mary Jane, and, Harry's in there. It's very classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's one of the best Spider-Man stories ever told. Because it's not that they changed everything, it's just that they did the classic, but they did it so well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's sometimes they just change things to change things, when really you should just do what's there really well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know, that's how I feel. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that.
I'm glad you feel well.
It's maybe one day we'll talk about that game.
Dude, we'll have to. Maybe if a sequel comes out, we'll go back. I'm not sure how much we missed. I think we're both pretty big fans of the game.
We're really big fans. I'm excited to hear what you have to say about Miles, because, spoiler alert, I prefer Miles Morales over the Spider-Man game.
Oh, it just blows me away. I will say immediately, though, the combat's better.
Yeah.
The combat feels... And this is weird to say, because I really liked the combat in the original Spider-Man. But man, the combat feels miles ahead. Oh! It feels miles ahead. Anyways. And I just think that's pretty impressive. That with just an hour and a half of gameplay, you can tell immediately, this feels better.
Yeah. My favorite, or...
This is just going to turn into an episode about
Yeah,
Miles Morales.
we should probably stop now.
But thank you. I guess we should just stop now.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to give you that yet. You're not ready for that. Neither am I, since I haven't played it. But
yeah.
But thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for coming and listening to our podcast. We've enjoyed making it. I've loved talking to you about it. So thank you, Chris, for having me.
Oh, thank you, Josh. Without you, I wouldn't have finished this movie. And it was a good movie to finish.
You would have forever stayed at the halfway point.
Yeah, I would have forever been at the point where
What was happening?
It was... shoot, what was it? It was right after Peter B. Parker and Miles kind of became friends.
Oh, okay. Like when they went to Alchemex,
It's
essentially?
like 5 shots before that, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like in the diner or whatever.
Yeah, I was in the diner.
I love that part.
Yeah.
But I could
It
have
was
said
like
that
when
about any
Peter
part.
was telling him the plan of like getting the bagel and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, I'm glad that you're glad you finished it.
Mm.
Are you glad that I'm glad that you're glad that you finished it?
So glad.
I'm glad. I hope you guys are glad with your experience of listening to us. And yeah, we're excited to have you guys hear us again or hear from you again. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
It does not bring me anything at all. So many spiders, so many spiders. But I'm a man, I'm a spider. But I'm the man, I'm the spider. And the man, I'm the man. There are spiders all over my hands, and they're falling like sand, and I just cannot stand how many spiders I'm losing, because I am the spider. The spider, the man, and I'm the man. No matter how much I swing, I am the spider. Swinging through the streets, and I'm the man. Spiders in my hands, the spiders. Oh, Mary, and Mary Jane, they swing for me.